You move to Japan because staying where you are feels like watching your life repeat the same day over and over again. Back home, you've got a degree that technically qualifies you for jobs, but every job interview ends with the same polite sentence. "We'll get back to you." They never do. Your friends are moving forward. New apartments, promotions, relationships that look stable from the outside. Meanwhile, you're stuck refreshing job boards and convincing yourself that something bigger is waiting somewhere else. So one night, after watching videos of neon Tokyo streets, ramen shops glowing at midnight, and people walking through Shibuya Crossing like the center of the universe, you make a decision. Maybe the problem isn't your life. Maybe it's your location. 2 months later, you're landing at Narita Airport with one suitcase, $1,200 in your bank account, and a contract to teach English at a small language school you barely researched. The plan sounds simple. Teach English, learn Japanese, build a new life. 3 goals. 0 idea how any of them will actually work. Your first apartment is in a neighborhood called Kita Senju. The real estate agent calls it a 1K apartment, which means 1 room and a kitchen that's basically a hallway with a stove. The entire place is about the size of your old bedroom. There's a small balcony, a bathroom that feels like it was designed for someone 30% smaller than you, and walls so thin you can hear your neighbor sneeze. But the rent is 65,000 yen, which in Tokyo is practically a miracle. So you sign the lease. You sit on the floor because you don't have furniture yet. You eat a convenience store rice ball and stare at the wall. And for the first time in months, your life actually feels like it's moving somewhere. Your job is at a small English conversation school. The name is Future World English Academy, which sounds inspiring until you realize it's basically an English factory. You teach 6 classes a day, businessmen who need English for meetings, university students who need it for exams, and elderly people who just want someone to talk to. Your salary is 250,000 yen a month, which sounds great until you subtract rent, health insurance, train passes, and taxes. After everything, you're left with about 100,000 yen for food and life, which in Tokyo means budgeting becomes a survival skill. You discover Matsuya, a beef bowl chain where 400 yen buys you a full meal. You eat there so often that the night shift worker starts preparing your order when you walk in. He doesn't know your name, but he knows your bowl. In a foreign city that somehow feels like recognition. The loneliness arrives slowly, not dramatic, not cinematic, just quiet. You notice it on the train rides home. Hundreds of people packed into a subway car, yet nobody's speaking. Everyone's staring at their phones. No eye contact, no small talk. Tokyo is one of the most crowded cities on Earth, and somehow it can still make you feel invisible. Then one night, something small changes everything. You're taking out the trash when your neighbor opens his door. He's an older man, probably in his 60s. Gray hair, slippers, soft smile. He bows slightly. You bow back awkwardly. You say the only Japanese phrase you're confident about, sumimasen. He laughs, not at you, but warmly. Then he disappears inside his apartment and comes back holding a small plate. On it is tamagoyaki, a rolled Japanese omelet. He hands it to you and bows again. You thank him. And later that night, you eat it standing in your tiny kitchen. It's simple, just eggs and seasoning, but it tastes better than anything you've had in weeks. Not because of the recipe, because someone made it for you. His name is Tanaka-san. Over the next few weeks, he becomes the closest thing you have to family in Tokyo. Your conversations are mostly gestures and broken language. He teaches you Japanese words by pointing at objects: table, door, friend. You teach him English the same way. He repeats the word friend slowly, then points at you, then at himself. For the first time since you arrived in Japan, the city doesn't feel quite as big. He takes you to the local sento, the public bathhouse. Old men sit in hot water, discussing things you can't understand, but somehow you still feel included. He brings you to a neighborhood festival. Lanterns hanging above the street, kids running around with sparklers, food stalls selling yakitori and takoyaki. You realize something strange. You came to Japan searching for adventure, but what you found instead was routine. Train rides, small meals, Short conversations, quiet moments that slowly turn into a life. Months pass. Your Japanese improves. You buy a small table, a floor chair, a cheap plant for the window, you name it Hiroshi. Because naming things makes them feel permanent. And permanence is something you didn't expect to find here. One night, you're walking home from work when you stop at Shibuya Crossing. Thousands of people moving in every direction, tourists taking photos, salarymen rushing home, couples laughing under neon lights, and suddenly it hits you. Nobody here knows who you are. Nobody knows where you came from, but somehow, this chaotic city has quietly made space for you. Living alone in Japan isn't the dream you imagined from Instagram or anime. It's smaller than that, quieter, sometimes lonelier, but it's also filled with tiny moments you never expected. A beef bowl worker remembering your order, a neighbor sharing food, a festival lantern glowing in a narrow street. Moments that slowly turn a foreign place into something that almost feels like home. And the strangest part? Tokyo never actually notices you. It just keeps moving. Millions of lives crossing paths every day. But somewhere in that endless crowd, you manage to carve out a tiny place that belongs to you, and for now, that's enough.